All right, coaches, good to see you guys again. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to start supercharging your coaching business with AI. So, if that sounds of interest, you guys are going to like today. Give me a heart, give me a like if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you guys can hear me because I don't want you guys to miss today's talk. It's going to be a good one. The topic of the day is going to be a little different than we normally talk about. I don't think I've actually talked about this before. We're going to talk about some high level concept, what's going on in the coaching world and where things are kind of moving to in the future and in the near future, and how we as coaches can start to take advantage of this AI revolution going on in the world. And so I think it'll definitely be a note taker. So if you guys have a pen and paper or a Google Doc handy, you're going to want to jot down a few high level concepts. And really, guys, I want to get the wheels turning in your heads because you may have not have thought about these things before. And me, who kind of spends quite a bit of time thinking about this, um, I'm just starting to embrace these ideas now and starting to apply them to my life and to my coaching business. All right, guys, without ado, let's get into the topic of the day. How do we as coaches take all this crazy energy and activity in the coaching world and apply it to our business as a coach so we can start saving time, making more money, getting more things done, right? How can we do this, right? So, as I have kind of fallen down the AI rabbit hole, guys, and have just gone deep on this, there's a few big concepts that I wanted to share with you, coaches, and I want you guys to challenge you folks to kind of start to think about this yourselves, right? And so the first big idea here, everybody, is that we have entered a new transitional period in society, right? So we are moving from a so this isn't just in the coaching world and not on the economic world, but literally on a society level, we are entering this period where we are transitioning from a human powered society, if you will, to an AI powered society, if you will. So, kind of crazy, kind of out there, but just roll with me here, guys. We've started entering into this transitional period where humans essentially have been doing all the work and all the things, and the computers, the machines, if you will, these AI systems have started to catch up, if you will, to some of our abilities and will continue to get better as we move into the future, right? So that's to set the table, guys. This is kind of what's going on. When ChatGPT came out last November, we're coming up on a year. The world got a taste of something that the big AI labs have been working on for the last few years, right? It went from the lab into the real world, and all of us got to experiment and taste, what this next generation AI systems can do, right? And it kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes, and it was kind of, was the clarion call that something is about to happen and change, right? And it's hard to go without a week or two without hearing some other AI story in the news, kind of, affecting our schools, affecting, the news, affecting us as coaches. And it's making people feel all kinds of different things. Anyway, so that's the setting, everybody. And one way I've kind of found this helpful to think about this and how to take advantage of this change, and that's really, guys, why I'm doing this at all, is as soon as I started messing around with ChatGPT and seeing what it can do and started, looking into this more and more, it became very apparent that we are about to enter a period of rapid change, and somebody is going to have to help guide people through this process, right? Shepherd coaches, other industries, society in general through this very rapid transition that's about to happen. And so that's kind of what's been going on, right? For the last, 6, 9 months since I've pivoted from mainly helping other coaches get clients to helping coaches understand this new AI paradigm and helping people through this transition, there's been a lot of trying to figure out, okay, what does this mean, Tate? What does this mean practically for me? And what's so weird and strange about this AI stuff, everybody, is that when it went from the lab into the real world, these AI labs didn't really give us an instruction manual, right? They didn't give us documentation on how all of this works and how all this applies to the real world. So me and many others have decided, it is important for us to figure out how we can take this powerful technology that is only getting better and more capable year after year moving forward, to our businesses, to life in general, and just kind of figuring it out as we go, right? So one very useful way to think about it that I have found in my own business is thinking about our job as a coach and running a coaching business in terms of a set of tasks, right? So when I sit down at the beginning of the week and I'm thinking about, okay, Tate, what do I need to do in order for the business to be successful, for me to do all the things I need to do, I have a list of daily tasks that I need to do every business day of the week. Right. So literally on my Google Calendar, I have a list of tasks that I go through and I check off. That if I, the idea is if I check these things off, I will have done what I need to do for the business to serve my clients and to grow appropriately, right? And so breaking our daily habits and our daily business activities down into tasks and subtasks is kind of a good way to think about how we can start integrating AI coaches into our businesses. So let me kind of maybe give you guys an example to kind of make this, to really drill this point home, right? So let's take the common activity of content creation, right? It's something we as coaches have to do on a regular basis, oftentimes for our programs, oftentimes for marketing and sales purposes. But content creation is just a reality that all of us coaches deal with on a regular basis these days, right? And so if so if I really think, okay, Tate, let's take Instagram, for example. And if I am going to create a piece of content for Instagram, I can really break it down into smaller bits, right? So the big task might be, okay, I need to create an Instagram reel that is going to help my business in some way. But in order to create the reel, I need to do a bunch of smaller steps on the way, right? So one of those steps might be I need to have an idea of what I'm going to do, right? So ideation, right? Having ideas to put into the real world, right? So that's one task, for example. Once I have the idea, then I need to go, let's say, film, right? I need to go film a recording, or I need to find an image, and then I need some text. That's one task. And then a caption, text, copy is another task. Then I need to maybe go find some music. That's another task. Maybe I need to do a voiceover. That's another task. Then I need to put it all together. And these 5, 6, 7 smaller tasks adds up to the big task of creating a piece of Instagram content that is going to advance my business in some way or the other, right? A lot of us coaches, when we're running our businesses, we don't really think of it necessarily in terms of a bunch of small mini tasks leading up to a big thing. We just know, okay, we need to create content here. We need to do a coaching call there. And we just kind of, we've been doing this for a little bit, coaches, we kind of just do it without thinking about it. And so what I want to challenge you coaches is to start thinking about all your regular daily activities in terms of small tasks, right? So this is a little bit challenging at first, but once you kind of get into the rhythm, it becomes easier and easier, right? So, if you're an organized person, this is probably easier for you. If you're not, it might be a little more challenging, but I really would recommend coaches that you figure out, all right, what is my weekly routine? What do I need to do each day? And then you start to break these bigger tasks into smaller bits, right? So, like I gave you guys an example of taking a piece of Instagram content and breaking it down into smaller pieces. That's what you guys want to do. All right. So, once we have done this, something I call decomposing daily tasks that we as coaches need to do in order for our businesses to run, then what we can start to do, everybody, is we can ask the question, all right, it can, let's say, Chat GPT, for example, um, do any of these smaller tasks. Um, I use ChatGPT, everybody, because that's probably one of the most common and most popular AI systems that people are using on a regular basis today. It's also a system that has grown in capabilities from when it came out in last November to today. We can touch on that briefly. But the question becomes, okay, of the 5 or 6 things that I need to do in order to create an Instagram reel, can ChatGPT do any of these tasks reasonably well? Right? So that's the exercise, coaches, that you guys are going to have to do if you really want to start to integrate these powerful AI systems into your daily routines as a coach, right? Because what's going to happen if once you start to do this, you're going to start to find that ChatGPT is actually pretty good at some of these things and not that good at other things, and that's okay, right? One of the things, for example, ChatGPT is good at is coming up with ideas, right? Brainstorming, 10, 100, 1,000 different ideas on the spot, right? And you can be very specific, very custom to your niche, to your ideal target market. It'll give you ideas all day, all night, and you don't have to stress, right? So it's a great ideation machine, right? So that it's good at, let's say, one of the 5 different smaller tasks you need to do in order to create content. Sometimes that piece in itself is one of the biggest barriers because we just don't even know what to do as coaches, and so we're looking for ideas. We kind of get stuck, and when we do this, it helps us overcome that barrier, right? And so what we're going to do, what you coaches are going to need to do is, because there is no instruction manual, everybody, you basically have 2 options, and I'd really recommend doing both of these things. One is listen to people like me, for example, or other people doing something similar, people that have been experimenting with this new powerful technology, and that are people that are figuring out very practical use cases for my business, and start adopting those into your own business, right? So that's method number 1. Not to toot my own horn, but I would recommend following a few people like this, and they will help you uh, expedite your process as a coach, integrating this new tech into your business, right? So follow people like that. And then, coaches, I would highly, highly recommend that you guys start to play around with this technology yourselves, right? There is no better way to learn this new technology and really future proof your business by intentionally playing with this technology, intentionally playing with something like ChatGPT, and seeing how can I use this to help me complete these things I do every day more, faster, better, so on and so forth, right? So those 2 things, guys. Follow a few people that don't annoy you and that are very helpful in terms of making this technology very practical. And number 2, start practicing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, with this technology in your business, as experimentation, right? Once you start to experiment with it, it will start to become obvious what it's good at, what it's not great at. And it can be quite delightful to figure out what it's actually good at, and it's actually good at doing things that you didn't expect, right? So that is really the process, coaches. If you really want to essentially not get left behind as we move into this new transitional period where more and more AI tech is going to be built into everybody's business. And and when the people that have taken advantage of these tools start to separate themselves from those that have resisted it or that just didn't spend the time learning it, um, if you've taken the time to understand this new technology, it's going to help you do a ton more stuff fast. You're going to save a lot of time, and you're going to do a lot more. So you're going to get a lot more done in half the time, for example, right? And in the process, you're going to make a lot more money because you're just way more efficient than you used to be, or the coach next door. Excuse me, everybody. All right. Excuse me. So I hope that makes sense, guys. This is kind of some very high level ideas that I wanted to bring to you, coaches, and just challenge you guys. Because what's so weird and crazy about this period that we've entered, everybody, is there is no instruction manual, right? There are no pros, right? This stuff just came into existence, at least to the public, less than a year ago, and the world is now trying to figure out. And this is where you start to get people that have mastered the technology through experimentation, through learning from others, will start to separate themselves from everybody else who did not. Right. So a few more last thoughts here, guys, before I let you guys go. I don't want to, overload you with any more high level ideas here, everybody. But is this idea that these systems, or in the example that we've been using, ChatGPT is going to get more capable and stronger every single year, right? So ChatGPT, everybody, is really just a high level way of interacting with the underlying model, which is called GPT-4, right? For the plus users, for the paying members of ChatGPT, you are most likely using something called GPT-4. That's the actual AI piece of the brain. And it is widely expected that GPT-5, the next version of that model, will come out probably next year sometime, right? And every time, a new, more powerful model comes out, its capabilities dramatically increase, right? So let's say it's great today, it'll be 10 times better next year. And then the year after that, it'll be 100 times better than it is today. And then in a few years from now, it'll be 1,000 times more capable and powerful than it is today, right? There's like this accelerating curve of capabilities as these systems get better, right? And just to hammer this point even harder, everybody, since ChatGPT came out last year, when we've just basically been using GPT-4, like we're still using that generation of model, things like ChatGPT's ability to speak to us has come out. ChatGPT's ability to create, state-of-the-art images has come out. ChatGPT's ability to act like a data scientist, right? You can upload tons and tons of data in spreadsheets, for example, and then it will analyze it like a professional data scientist for $20 a month, right? So the price of ChatGPT Plus has stayed the same, but its capabilities has grown dramatically, right? Um, it can see now, it can see images that you uploaded to it. So if you take a screenshot of, let's say, a sales page, you can upload this image and it can literally critique and offer suggestions to your sales page right there and then. With voice, for example, everybody, it can act like a business coach or an accountability coach for you as a coach, right? All this is to say, everybody, is that we're on this curve, right? And as we go up the curve, these systems become more and more capable. And we as coaches want to figure out how can we embrace this new tech, and how can we take advantage of it so that, one, we don't get left behind, and two, it makes life easier, right? You go, you are going to save a ton of time and you're going to get way more done. And in the process, you're probably going to enjoy your job more and you're going to make a lot more money, right? And so go back, guys, watch what I just told you guys now and go through that exercise, right? The exercise of breaking our daily business habits down into smaller tasks and figuring out, okay, what is it good today? And if it's not good today, it might be good 6 months from now or next year, right? All right, everybody. Today was kind of a weird one, very high level, very kind of meta, but I wanted to challenge you coaches to think about AI in this way, and how, as we move into the future, things are going to get very, kind of weird, very different than it is today. But we can do it together, and I highly recommend it. All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you guys on the socials, or I will see you next week for another call. All right, everybody. Take care, guys.